Hello everyone, Papercut here with another replay review. Here we are with Nothing Fancy, a silver Ottoman player. When he reached out to me to ask me to look at this video, this replay, he said, well, I'm a silver, I don't know if it's worth it. I want everyone to know it's always worth looking at film no matter the level. There are people who can learn a lot from watching other people's replays, especially people of a similar skill level. So I'm really happy that Nothing Fancy here is a silver, reached out. Love looking at any level of gameplay. Because I know there's always going to be people watching who will see that gameplay and go, I make very similar mistakes. It's good to hear. So thank you to Nothing Fancy. So he plays a lot of Ottoman, very new to the game, recently started on the ranked ladder. So we're going to be looking at what he did against Macaroon, who's an English player, or at least playing English on this map. See what Nothing Fancy did and give some advice for what he could do differently in general. My goal, my advice, yes, I'll do some specific things, but I really also want to focus on the broader things to try to do every single match. First thing I want to do when entering a match is think about the map, think about our opponent. Our opponent is an English player, is most likely going to do a longbow rush. So it's going to be really important that we get out horsemen, or in this case, Ottoman Sipahi early, as well as potentially maybe tower up important resources, and be scouting to see which direction they're coming from. And lastly, getting out your own archer mass. Ottomans are pretty well situated to deal with English. One, with the military schools, you get passive units, so you're going to slowly kind of gain on the English player. Your Sipahi are really good because they are just a stronger horseman with greater reach. And lastly, with your Meter, you could either do aero defense mode on it, which would give you a lot of defense on all your military units for longbow shots, or just do the speed and make it so that your archers are shooting faster than the longbowmen. And even then, with the Ottoman abilities such as Anatolian Hills, you can play very defensive, kind of survive a long amount of time. The key thing against any sort of aggressive rush is surviving and waiting until you can take the engagement, and also trying to hamper them in many different ways. Lastly, on this map, one nice thing about Hidden Valley is that since the deer are always very close, I actually suggest just going on the deer immediately, especially because you know you're going to get rushed. So if you can get this deer early on, and then when the longbows start coming, you can rotate back to your safe sheep. That allows you to get this really nice food resource on the deer before it becomes in danger of an aggressive attack. Something you might not know is that deer as a food resource is better. Food resources are different. So berries you don't gather as fast, but deer you actually gather faster in larger amounts. So less villagers on deer will gather more food than more villagers on sheep or berries. So that's just like on this map specifically. Last of Hidden Valley, because it's a lane style map where you there's two different lanes here to attack from, and you can't cross over the lanes. You can pretty much guess that the English player is going to attack down one lane because they won't want to split their units. If they send 2 longbow down the left lane, then like 3 longbow down the right lane, UMass the military could wipe out one of his sides, and then he's weaker than you. So he's going to pick a lane to attack you on. That other open lane gives you a chance to raid, or it gives you a chance to set up your defenses in a way to protect yourself and make sure the lane your opponent is attacking from, it's really difficult. So some small things, let's see what you do. I appreciate you don't do the spearman rush opening for Ottomans, because English is really hard to rush. Their villagers, with their short bows that they can shoot, make it so they could just shoot your spearmen and wouldn't really do anything. You also want to get up to feudal as fast as possible against the English, because you need horsemen, you need your own archers. And getting up a tower with arrow slits, so you need to get a little bit of stone here, it's nice, will slow down that rush. I like the 20-minute Madrasa, it gives you that food. Once again, you're able to really survive a long time. What I just realized that I didn't really pay attention to your resource splits early on. So I'm going to do a quick restart, because getting up to feudal against the English as fast as possible is actually really, really important. So I want to make sure your opening is clean. A clean opening would mean you hit 400 food and 200 gold at relatively the same time. So you're not stacking resources. I think you do. I just want to double check. So this like that one little small thing, right, where you went out on the berries first. Go on the deer first. Berries you don't gather as fast. And with the survival techniques upgrade, that would make you gather their deer even faster. And also, I would suggest as soon as possible get wheelbarrow. So don't get it before you age, but after you age up, get wheelbarrow as soon as possible. Your villagers carrying more and moving faster. It's really, really helpful. And the way to think about it is the eco upgrades will pay off down the line. If your opponents invest in military, you can get in a couple eco upgrades, and your villagers will be better than his, so you will get more resources over time. So if you can survive, you will eventually be able to push him back. And yes, and also since you got the sheep back, you should have more sheep here. You didn't need to go out on these berries, but if you had to go out, you should have gone on the deer. Second, don't go to 9, just stick on 8, and then start rallying to wood, because you need to be ready to get down production as soon as possible. And opening this mill means you're down 50 wood already. So you do an early wheelbarrow, which means that you're not aging up as efficiently as possible. You actually need to get up ASAP. So I would actually wait until you're actually doing your age up, then do wheelbarrow. And even then, at the point that you should age up, you should really only need to keep 2 to 3 villagers on gold. Reason being is because you will need to make units. You'll need to get your villagers on stone to get military schools. You need to get your villagers on wood to get production, military buildings down. And so you're going to have too much gold. I'm going to predict this right now. You're going to have too much gold, because you have 4 on gold, that you won't actually be able to use, either because you don't have the wood to make upgrades, or you don't have the food to do upgrades, because you're spending that on units, or at least you should be. You need to right now be getting into his base by now. Your scouting pattern was good, but you should be getting to his base about this point to see what he's doing. So first, you see he's on the deer, so he has more food than you right now, which is important to keep in mind. 2, look how much you're about to enter feudal without the ability to make any units. And against English, that's going to be bad, because he can make, with his landmark, he can make longbows instantly, and they'll be crossing the map instantly. And so your goal when aging up is, I would actually keep like 4 or 5 on food, and you're putting the rest on wood, because you need to get up a stable immediately when you age up. Second, you need to, I would take the villagers off gold when you start aging up, like get wheelbarrow, but then get off gold and put that on stone. Because if you had 200 stone right now, you could get military schools, and military schools are your big power spike. As Ottoman, you need to get your military schools up as soon as possible. Delaying those really, really hurts you. And getting the stone also allowed you, maybe if you a tower right here is so powerful, because a longbow here can shoot these villagers on this wood, but a tower here protects this gold. He can't walk in on your deer, and gives you more space of control. You can like get on this wood line, things like that. But the point being is, your early resource splits already are showing me that you're not going to be ready to defend this attack. And that's what we have to think about. If we see he already has a longbow out, and a higher level player would send this longbow to like here, and he would rally 3 longbows here, and then he'd walk up and start shooting you. But he's on resources right now, and this is the thing. As long as they're doing this longbow rush, they're going to have to be on resources, because they need wood for longbows. Now, if they delay and get down farms, you'll be able to get down units, and you can push them back. But you need to drop off the sheep and get back here and watch the incoming units here. I like that you got survival techniques, though, for the deer. That's really helpful. Okay, now you're getting on stone. Here's what I like. I like that you used all the gold on getting eco upgrades. So while I disagree on the timing of getting that gold, I do appreciate that you used it immediately, and now you're getting your stone for your military schools. I would get up a tower ASAP, just right here. You get it on the front side here with arrow slits. Longbows can't walk up. 2, you need to be putting down production as soon as you can. So as soon as you get the wood to do it, you need to be putting it down. And with the Ottomans, what sucks about this map is it's a tight map, so you don't have a lot of space to do your special blacksmith. So you might have to pick like the blacksmith right up against the TC here and build a protection around it. As long as it's barely touching, you're good. But you need to be already getting down the blacksmith, getting down your first stable, which you can with the resources, but you can't be late on this stuff. If you're going to play against an aggressive civ, you can't lose time. See, watch, and boom, he's already here. And your villagers are now crossing right in front of his longbows. So see how those decisions early on steamrolled into later issues, and how our thought process at the start of the game affects our ability to react. So at the start of the game, if we go English, he's probably playing aggressive, and you should check that by scouting, right? Because maybe he goes 2TC, maybe he goes fast castle. But most English players at your elo will just longbow rush you. Simple, clean, easy to do. That means you go, okay, I need to make sure I'm getting the resources so I can respond to that quickly. What resources do I need to do that? Well, I need production, so I need wood. I need towers, so I need wood. I need stone. So the second I'm aging up, I'm going to delay my eco until I have the units to defend myself. Because 2 Sipahi right here wipe this out. Hell, even like 1 Sipahi wipes this out. And he goes quick. He doesn't even build... He's setting up his first man-at-arms right now, but he hasn't even made his spearman. His first spearman is all the way back here. The reason I say this is because if you had gotten the resources early, built the production, and gotten out that first unit, he would already be pushing back, and you have the space to then keep going. Because you're going to start losing space soon. He's going to kill these villagers, I'm guessing. He's either going to walk up here, or he's going to rotate around and start shooting this. And it's going to feel really, really frustrating. You're getting out your first Sipahi right now. Make sure you build them out of both. But it's a tad late. And if you had split your villagers earlier for the resources you knew you were going to need, you would already have these units out. Because this is, while as Ottoman you're prepared to do this, this is also a kind of a tough matchup for you. I used to play, at one point a few seasons ago, I played Ottoman all the way to Conqueror. And English was a tough matchup because Ottoman takes a little bit to get going, and English get at you quickly. And if you're not immediately ready to take them on, they kind of wipe you out before your power spike of your military schools can take off. Because your power spike is getting down your first 2 military schools and building up that unit mass. And since you already have 2 stables down, I would suggest you actually have your military school produce archers. Because you know what's coming. He's going to start making spearmen. So you now need to drop an archery range. You need to drop another military school. Have your military schools be doing archers while you make Sipahi out of your stables. What I will commend you for, I have yet to see you miss a villager. And this is a tip for all of you lower elo players. One of the biggest issues I see is not making villagers. You overqueue. I always suggest you overqueue villagers instead of forgetting. You might be, you could use resources a little bit better, but this is better. Okay, so you just walked up on them, and look what you saw. You saw 6 longbows, 3 spears in an outpost. So he's setting up. He's trying to walk in. And really, your force right here could take this on, honestly. You could fight this. It would be hurtful. But he doesn't have enough spearmen to really stop you. This tower sucks. And that's another thing. If you had gotten the Sipahi out earlier, you push the longbows back, you stop the tower, and this whole little push becomes moot. But you can tell he's trying to proxy set up here. This tells you one thing. This is his lane. So here's one thing you can do. One thing about Hidden Valley is that the wood line is far away from the TC. And you know he's on these resources. The second you see the lane he picks, send 2 Sipahi. Send 2 Sipahi to the other direction. Down here. And 2 Sipahi push him off this food. Disrupts his entire food eco. 2 Sipahi on this wood line here. Kills his ability to make longbowmen. One thing I like to do on this map, I'll just run my units here, push them out, and then I'll click V, which is stand ground, and I just stand them here until they send in units to actually kill my units. But if you just cut off this wood line, he either loses villagers or he pushes off, and then he's out of wood and he can't make units. He can't make longbows until he cleans that up. And right now you're full. You have enough units to fight this. You're actually doing well, but you don't have the right comp. And you're just getting on archers and military schools now. So once again, the rolling progression of not having your resources ready. Okay, so you need to back up here. And rushing up a tower right here would be super helpful. Just have vision. Yeah, you need a raid right here. A little raid right here to slow him down. Because you need to buy time. So in a defensive position, your goal is you buy time until you can fight. Look how many resources you have. So there's this thing I call the macro cycle. The macro cycle is every time you have a space to think. I try to do in like 30-second or minute clips. You're checking, am I doing everything I'm supposed to do? So like, what are the most important things? Am I making villagers? Am I making units? And I check my resources. Okay. I'm not on gold. That's good because you don't have any units that have gold. But you do have food and wood, and you need to be spending that. You need as many units as possible, okay? I have Sipahi queued up, but I have 4 archers queued up, and this should immediately tell you, I need more military buildings. If you have the wood, and you have extra resources, you need to put down more production. You should never produce more than 2 units out of a military building. If you can queue up more than 2, you need another production building. Because what's holding you back right now is that you can't make units fast enough. His landmark allows him to produce longbows super quick. So you need 2 to 3 archery ranges at this point. Do 2 stables, and you're producing. Because you are going to sit here and wait until he attacks. I wouldn't even build barracks, honestly. Oh, you're not building barracks. Fight this. You run around. That's good. That sucks, losing that. You should have pulled these villas right here to kill this. Once he fell back, you should have pulled the villas to burn it. I like this. Run away. No, don't fight that. So think about what the objective is of this. Your objective here was to push him off the fight, kill as many units as possible, but it is very, very vital you're taking good trades. A good trade is you are doing more damage he's doing to you. You have pushed him off, and you're safe again. What you need to do right now is save these units. These Sipahi are so valuable. My suggestion is you should just ram them back here and start killing reinforcements. And then you could have done a buzz buy of his resources and kept running. Like, you don't even need to stay. Run through, kill 2 villagers, keep running. And he will chase you. He'll have to chase you. And while he's chasing you, you're then rallying to the front right here, and you're building up your second force. And that raiding party is buying you time. Don't fight under this. You do not fight this outpost until you get siege engineering. At this point, this is why you did kind of need to keep 2 villagers on gold at all times. Is because you need siege engineering. You need siege engineering, and you need your own stilled arrow. Would be huge. But you need a tower to bring this down, a ram to bring this down. But here's where you're going to run into the first problem, Hidden Valley. Hidden Valley does not have a lot of extra food. So him as English, one thing he's trying to do is he's trying to wait you out. He's going to put down farms. He's going to try to wait you out. And he's blocking off your deer over here. And there's the berries all the way up here, but that's it. And you're about to run out of food. So that's why you need a lot of villagers on wood right now, because you have to do an early farm transition. But this would also have been a great time for you to try to sneak castle. So you pushed him off, and he's going to have to build a lot more units. Now you're doing the right thing here, because you could actually fight spearmen reinforcements, because he's 1 spearman at a time. You could fight those with this group of Sipahi, no problem. But anyway, this is a great time for you to now go castle, because he has to build more units to push in. If you had then taken, 8 units off wood, or 4 off food, 4 off wood, gone to this gold mine over here, and started mining gold, you could get up to castle before his next push happens. And then you're building men-at-arms. You're doing like men-at-arms Sipahi. No, save these. Just run back to base. Then you're building men-at-arms Sipahi. Or you're getting up that map for that first Magno, because 1 Magno ends this whole thing. No, don't walk up. You're playing into him right now, because he wants to be under this defensive aura. You're playing into him right now. Wait this out. He doesn't have enough units. So even if he pushes in with these rams, he doesn't have enough units. And now I see you rushing castle. This is great. Your instincts are really good. You have the right instincts. It's just the timing's off. That just comes from practice. Okay, here. This is a good micro thing. You jumped his first ram, which is great, and then he ran his spearman up. You can't sit here on that. You run out your... If you double-click on a unit, you get all of them. Or you hold control and click a unit, you get all of them in like your screen. Run them back and let your archers just start poking. And you keep running your archers back. But, really... and then once they get to your archers, you then send your Sipahi back, because they'll be fighting your archers, and then your Sipahi kill them. But... What's putting more pressure is than running your Sipahi around and getting on his longbows. But what you notice, he's starting to add in men-at-arms, and this is going to become a problem for you, because your archers won't do much to men-at-arms, and your Sipahi will do okay. Good micro, but then run back, don't sit. Get on them, good. Pull the villagers, good. But you notice now you're taking too much, and then you take too much damage. One thing you could have done is since you saw the lane, he wanted to come down. He put his here, so he needs to walk in this way. You could have set up your production back here. Like, your production is so important to protect, so putting it back here would have been really helpful. But you're going to castle time is a little late, and since you didn't protect your units, You're now behind. Yeah, now you're dead. You're just out of food. Okay. So let's talk about what could have been different. First, I think the biggest thing was make sure you're doing the game plan that fits what you're playing against. You'll quickly figure out which civs want to be aggressive towards you if you're playing against a civ, and you notice they're dropping production the second hit feudal. You have to get, and even as Ottoman, no matter what, you want to be aggressive yourself. You need to get down production as soon as possible. So make sure your villager splits going into feudal fit that. You're getting wood, you're getting stone, so you can get up your production quickly. And yes, get the gold for your upgrades, but really you need wheelbarrow the most, and then get those upgrades later. You're getting your first set of production down, and then going to gold would be big. Second, knowing your map and your resources available. Your goal is either to try to sneak castle by being defensive, or overwhelm your opponent with your military school and your units, which you can do. But the point being is, you will be able to defend this a lot better if you can get a Mangonel out. Getting that landmark here and then getting the Mangonel out would have been really, really big for you. But most importantly, as a defender, you have to play your units smart. Your goal is not to defeat them on the first fight. Your goal is to continuously take better trades so you're eventually getting more units until you can then overwhelm him. What really helps as a defender is two things. Cutting off reinforcements, raiding. So a couple things you're going to do. First, 2 Sipahi over to their resources. And the key is, the micro's hard, but I would put them on their own control group, like 3 or 2. When you run them in, wait until the villagers run away, and then you run them back out, and you go back to your base, and you do what you need to do, and you keep sending them back in. Another thing to do is to do reinforcement cutoffs. So you could have ran your Sipahi all the way around the outside here, and then started killing reinforcements, and then when you came down to stop, you run back. Because your Sipahi are fast, he's slow. You have to take advantage of what's your advantages. His comp is very, very slow. Keep attacking his reinforcements, keep harassing his resources, and that will allow you, 1, to build up a bigger military, but 2, if that slows him down enough, you could go castle. Or at least it's good enough military to win. Because what really would have won you this is you need way more archers. Especially once he started massing a lot of spearmen, you need archers. A huge Ottoman archer ball will beat his longbows. Will beat everything he has. A lot of archers with a meter wipes him, but you don't have the production to do it. Instead, you go really having Sipahi. These military schools, I think, should have both been on archers, and you're making a Sipahi to form a basic front line. And then you should have been adding in farms a little earlier. Not full farms, but like a farm here and there, and slowly add them as we're fighting. But you had this game in the bag, in my opinion. Early on, you were producing more units to him. You took bad fights. You didn't ever put pressure on him to force him to make a mistake, and then allow him to kind of just play his game plan. And then he's just gonna, like, this is desperation. If he sees this, you're very, very dead. There it is. And for Ottomans, base building is so important. Like, you're migrating this actually well enough, like pulling him back into your base. You could have just put the archers in the town center at this point. But notice he has so many spearmen and men-at-arms, and your Sipahi can't do anything until they're gone. You just need more archers. But here's the thing. I thought your gameplay was pretty good. Honestly, your gameplay was good. But with Ottomans, you have to think so much about where can I put my production safely in responding to what the other civ's doing. Hope that was helpful. If you're ever interested in private coaching, you or anyone watching this video, feel free to message me on Discord. It's in the description. Or if you want your own replay review, if you're watching this, feel free to message me in Discord. I'm happy to help. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. And good luck on your games.